Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, and welcome to Winter is Coming Wednesday, episode 15. I have a card that I made for Thanksgiving, and I have two swap cards for Christmas to share. So the first one here is a project I worked on crafting with Libby, and I did a couple of different things just for fun. It started out as an experiment, but I like it well enough that I finished it off and we'll use it for Thanksgiving. I did use the In Good Taste wood trim side, the lightest and the darkest. So the gold embossed grateful is actually a wood trim, just very dark. And for the embossing folder, this is in the holiday catalog, I went ahead and used early espresso and sponged the whole embossing folder front with the early espresso. Then I embossed it, and then I used the spot and I ran it around the edges to make a very dark, thin, clean line to offset the tearing of the stamped image in front. The stamp is from a free celebration item, free with a $50 purchase, minus shipping and tax. It is called Feels Like Home. I stamped it in early espresso, and then I treated the windows using the shimmering glue, so it came out a little bit bumpy, and it has a little bit of glimmer in it. But I think it looks all right. It's kind of cute, a little different. And then around the door frame, I used white chalk marker, as well as dotted in the bricks with white. So in real life, I can see the white and see the little gel pen dots. In the video, you might not be able to see it as well, and it sort of shows up as a little bit, something a little different about it in the imagery. And then I did layer underneath Grateful with the gold flex fine art trim, and then some vellum that was torn in a similar fashion to the torn Feels Like Home stamped image. So this is a mix of rectangular shapes, vertical and horizontal. So what you can't tell here is Grateful is vertical, wood grain lined. The very light wood is horizontal. There's words in the back that you can barely see on the speckled embossing folder treatment. And then there's the two torn layers. So there's a lot going on this one. So I kept the trim to a minimum, and then I purposefully peeled them apart. This fine art trim actually comes apart really easily, so I've got it looking frayed on purpose. And then I used the brass brushed dots to finish it off. So this one is going into my stash, of course, for Thanksgiving. Okay, and moving on to the two Christmas swaps that I grouped together because of their similarity, and I wanted to do some research. So I've researched the different products that were used on each of them. They both have the creator's name. This is Jennifer Hamlin on the left, and on the right is a card made by Nanette McKeel. And both demonstrators are in North Carolina. So the sentiments and the sprigs both come from different sets. The set on the left is from Merriest Moments. It's in the holiday catalog, and it has holly, poinsettia, and sprigs, and 4 sentiments, all incorporating this cursive. The sentiments are longer and big. This is the smallest sentiment and the shortest sentiment. So it has a die set that comes with it, so it comes as a bundle. On the right is an annual catalog product. It focuses on evergreen trees and has one sprig, a very large sprig, so she stamped this twice, where this was stamped more than twice. It was probably stamped maybe 4 times. Even 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 times, and with some overlapping that the Season's Greetings covers. So the Evergreen Elegance is, for its bundle, it is a border punch of evergreen trees and has 3 sentiments. It looks like one, the Merry Christmas you see here, and then 2 sentiments that are longer that you can use on the inside of your card, or 3-line sentiment that you could use on the inside or outside. The one that's 5 lines definitely needs to be in the inside. So I should mention that on my website I do keep track of all current sentiments, and I use it extensively especially when I'm analyzing projects that, like if I go to Pinterest and somebody posted a pin but they didn't have a blog article to go with it, or in this case I have these swaps that I have sentiments but I don't have the details because neither of the creators gave a slip with all of the products used. I use my sentiments search to find these products. So I highly recommend that you check it out. I really like it. I decided it was actually for me personally, and I decided to share it. I figured if it's useful to me, it must be useful for others as well. So now so we've got the sentiment and the sprigs defined and identified. I noticed then that there's 2 different scalloped die cuts. The one on the left is Stitched So Sweetly, that has a number of scalloped, they're like nested, and the largest one is 4 1/8 by 3. This one on the right is new for this year in the annual catalog. Stitched So Sweetly was in last year's catalog as well, and it's called Scalloped Contours. It is part of a bundle, and it has the largest size of 5 1/4 by 4. So you can see that the scalloping is much larger, where these scallops are much smaller, and the overall size. So this is not one of the largest ones. This is probably one of the smaller ones from the Scalloped Contour dies. And I love both of the layouts. Now this person, if I was being really picky, I would take it apart and move the chevron, the evergreen, evening evergreen chevron trim one way or the other, but instead I will probably just trim off this side. Notice that the way that was cut as angles, so I could just trim at this angle on the other side to shorten it up and make it match, and this one is perfect. So now let's talk about the embellishments. The rhinestones, both have rhinestones, both are colored. The only thing I would say is I definitely am not fond of the 3 lined up at the bottom. And I like the variation of these 3, but it feels to me like on both of them I would rather have the rhinestones, only one of them be on the sprig layer and the rest of them be off on the outside layer. So I want to show you what that would look like. So that's an idea there. I have to be really careful not to have any of the adhesive stay. So for me, having the 3 rhinestones, I would even say that you could do a larger 2 and have a total of 5, and then color them. Now I didn't color these, so I'm not going to go that route, but if I were making these from scratch, that just would be my thought, would be to have 2 different sizes of rhinestones, colored, small and medium, a total of 5. So that's it. I'm curious what your thoughts are on these particular cards. I do really love them. I think they are both very nice cards, and done each with different sets that have different materials. They are complementary, and you could easily get both of them and they both would end up doing a lot of different things. I just find it interesting that they used different ways to get to basically the same looking card. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can leave them here on my video or over on my blog. I will have all supplies over on my blog. Don't forget that the first Thanksgiving card actually uses a Celebration product, and I don't think I mentioned that Celebration ends the end of this month, so you have until September 30th or while supplies last to order this Feels Like Home stamp set. And it does come with this one large image, but has smaller images and sentiments to go with it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.